ashes upon their heads, and ripped their clothes, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Job chapter 9. It's the book of Job. 24. Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the... Who is the wicked then? Who the wicked is, according to the Bible, are the ones that paint over the faces of the judges of the ancient world, who are the prophets of the Israelites, the angels, Yahushua, the border of wickedness. Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. This Maccabees chapter 1. All right, it's Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one, also and sacrifice to idols, profane the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and for offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. Call law by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Yahushua. All praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. In these beautiful days, we are living in the last days, people. And all truth is being revealed. All truth is being revealed. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. That knowledge shall increase at the end. And that increase is an explosion of hidden information. Right? I'm going to show you this one little clip. It's about 4 minutes. And it's about the warfare on the Bible for the Hebrews. You see the topic? The headline is How Greeks Stole Hebrew Biblical Books.
Claim every book of the New Testament was written in Greek, which is insane because all the books of the Bible were written by Hebrews. All the books of the Bible were written by Hebrews.
Which is true. And they were all inspired in the Spirit. It was all inspired to write these books by the Holy Spirit. First Peter's. Let's get it. First Peter's. These people have stolen our identity, man. And the Most High is only the Spirit of the Lord that's revealing it. And he's putting it not only in the Israelites, but you go to court, witnesses outside of those that's involved in this actual case. Right? And these are some of the witnesses that's starting to come out and say, okay, and the scriptures even says in Jeremiah 16, 19, that the Gentiles will say, our fathers, we have inherited lies from our forefathers. They're gonna start condemning their own forefathers for the lies that have been perpetuated throughout the time. This is the second Salaki. First Peter chapter 1. Let's get it. All right. And I gotta hurry up because I'm about to go to work. First Peter chapter 1. All right. Uh, the, the, the. Yeah, I think it is Second Peter. Second Peter chapter 1. Yep. Second Peter chapter 1:21. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, right? Which is the damn Greeks and the Romans that took the Bible and ran with it and made it look like them, all right, and made all the principles of the Bible to be mystic ways, has been the interpretation of the Bible. All right. He says, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of Yahweh spoke as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. So if these were only Ghost to write these letters, where do everybody else come?
Including the New Testament. So it just doesn't pass the smell test, right, that all of the authors were Hebrew and yet all of the originals were in Greek. But that is the claim. So we're looking at the New Testament, the Bible, through the Greek filter of another language, culture, and thought.
Roman Jews was to essentially steal the
Was to steal, right? And see, we had warfare within our own people as well, you know, because you had a lot of damn Greeks, our Israelites that, you know, converted into Greece, which is following the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Was it 54? An evil eye towards thy brother. And we see that today, man. Coonery and everything else, you know.
So it's going to take on Greek elements, and there's a lot of these. We'll get into them one by one, but it matters. And the reason we know is that it was not all written in Greek. The church fathers said so. There are 75 historic. Matthew was originally written in Hebrew.
So how come we don't learn about this in like seminary and places like this, or even just in just regular school?
We are
history?
descendants of the Greek.
Cemeteries, that's why. Those people are paid off. All these church institutions, Christian institutions, are paid off by the elites, man. The first self-proclaimed Jews who are really Edomites, and these people actually know that they're Edomites, but yet they had to perpetuate the lie in order to get the land. Because you want to know who really owns the land of Israel? Who really owns the land of Israel on the political level? It's the damn Rothschilds, man. Jacob Rothschild. I might do a video on that. All fought from the Britons when America to fight for them, for Britain against Russia. So it was a damn deal, under the table deal, and chess moves going on in order to obtain that land, not by favor of the Most High.
Church and the Greek church in Hebrew, at least Matthew was originally written in Hebrew.
So how come we don't learn about this in like seminary and places like this, or even just in just regular school?
We are
history?
descendants of the Greek church and the Greek church. Greek primacy of the Bible is an article of faith, right? So, so you have to, you know, not only are there 75 historical attestations now, but there was no one who said it did not exist. No one said it did not exist. And among those 75 attestations, there are more than 80 quotations directly from the Hebrew Gospels. All right, so we're supposed to say, well, the modern view of it, and remember, the modern view is 2,000 years old. Now it's about almost 2,000 years later. Now they're saying, well, there never really was a Hebrew gospel. And that was just mentioned by Papias, and everybody, you know, kept saying the same thing instead of uprooting the error. But that's not true. It's not true that all of the early church fathers were either frauds or fools by mentioning the Hebrew gospels. That's what you'd have to think to erase all of the early historical evidence that there was a Hebrew gospel.
You know, it's only to find. Now, first of all, I'm curious. So you knew there had to be more. Where did these other ones come from, if you can recall?
They originated from Cochin in India. They originated from Cochin in India. In the Kerala province.
It originated from Cochin in India. Because he's going to say how Thomas, he went to India. And he's preaching the gospel over there. Why? Because we got some brothers from India who was Elam, right? If you go in the book of Acts, of who the apostles was chasing down in order to preach this gospel, the blueprint map to find our brethren was in Acts chapter 2. Nations, and they were native there. Look at this, Acts chapter 2 verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. This is the blueprint to find the people of the Lord. All right, and look at all these Jews here. All right, let's go there. He says, verse 8, and how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born. So they was born in these different lands. Parthians, Medes, Elam, the Elamites. So the Elamites are the East Indians. That's why Thomas went to East India, and they got much records of him being there and died there. He got murdered.
This is where Thomas went in the first century and set up his ministry. Now, he would have taken all the Hebrew Gospels with them. That was their word. There was no Greek gospel. When they had gone to all corners of the earth, really, came with them. Would have taken all the apostles, would have taken no Greek gospel. When they had gone to all corners of the earth, really carrying the Hebrew Gospels with them. But we have a historical attestation that Bartholomew, pretty soon after that, the Bartholomew was his ministry and carried a copy of the Hebrew Gospels with him.
Now, this is not just legend. How do we know this?
This is historical attestation from the writings of the early church.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, we also have went to India and brought a copy of it back to Alexandria. A copy of the Hebrew Gospels back to Alexandria, where Origen used it in writing his famous Hexapla, which was the comparison of the extant Hebrew versions of the Bible, including the New Testament, a comparison of them with the extant Greek versions of the Bible. Now, the Roman Church didn't like Origen very much, so his all of his research, the Hexapla, we have fragments of it, but it's pretty much disappeared. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but that tends to be the pattern.
Of course it's on purpose, man. We know it's on purpose. Everything is on purpose, man. If you go into the Vatican, which means divine serpent in Latin, to trace down everybody in the world. Why? Because that was translated, or that was transferred from Alexander's the Alexandria Library, which had all the information of the world, because he's transferred from Greek to the Romans, and then down the line during the Dark Ages, when the Catholic Church rose up, they ended up putting that up in the Vatican. There's tunnels all over the world, again, to Israel or Jerusalem. You know, I might do a little clip on that too.
You've written the book on the subject.
That's true. Yes. That's right. But let's look at the evidence of it. So, the most important question you might think is, what are these Hebrew Gospels? We now have the manuscripts. We have had the manuscripts. These are new manuscripts. Are they authentic?
Right. How do we know? And Nehemiah goes in there and realizes that there's copies of the Hebrew Gospel in there.
Yeah.
And so there has to be more. I mean,
over 3,000 Hebrew New Testament manuscripts. Repeat that. Over 3,000. And of the complete New Testament from Matthew to Revelation, total pages.
The interpretation gonna be a lot different. Though we have a good portion of the revelation through the Spirit, but it's the same power in Hebrew is different than the vibration in Greek, the understanding in Greek. If you thought, you wouldn't see as many Christian churches as you see today. All right, look at this. And Solomon lets us know that. All right, let's go to Sirach. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 1. And let's go up. Let's read. Let's just go there. It says, whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed steps, for the which things Israel sought, or Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom. And wherefore not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also the readers must become skillful them. My grandfather Joshua, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and had gotten their wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things right? You got to be addicted to these things. That's a one who is a learner might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore, look at this. Where it may seem to come short of some words. Now, why are you going to come short of some words? Which we have labored to interpret, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force. When you translate it, it's not the same power that you will have in Hebrew, not the same understanding that you will have in Hebrew. So it's only by the Spirit of the Lord that gave us the mindset of the Hebrew thought and cultures, so we can have that Hebrew vibration to understand the scriptures by revelation of Yahweh Shai.
Total. So that's half or just over half of what the Greek have as, and we've discovered these within the last few years. So these need to be taken seriously. These aren't just a few pages that some people suggest, or a one copy from one hand. These are multiple copies from multiple scribes, totaling on each page, of course, over 3,000.
Roman Jews.
Roman Jews, that's some damn Pharisees and all those so forth. So we can cut that short. And as I said on the topic, the gospel is only for the Hebrews. With that, I give all praises and all honor to Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Shalom.